right here, right now. This will officially go down as episode number 242. You can jump on board the Unfiltered Revolution 24/7, 365. It is easy. Get over to the artist formerly known as Twitter, X if you will, at Casey Stern. Follow, then get up into the bio and hit up the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, comment on all the videos. Tell your friends. 241 into 242 episodes deep. And, of course, thank you to all of you who listen, where most of you are, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. And thank you to the Unfiltered band as well. This will be short and sweet and just spewing immediate reaction. There is nothing better, because it rarely happens in my lifetime as a sports fan, forget covering sports, but the teams that I root for, where you have the element of surprise and it's good. Normally surprise is something that's a disappointment. Normally surprise is something that is a fall on your face moment that you weren't prepared for. But not today. Not if you're an Islander fan of the logo over my shoulder. Not if you're a diehard of a franchise that has seemingly disappointed over and over again for a multitude of years, for most of the last 3+ decades. There have been moments, but they have been few and far between. And most of the moments recently for the Islander franchise were directly correlated in a positive manner to a coaching hire and to Barry Trotz being part of the team. But since his firing, which I've said for I don't even know how many times here, and forever since it happened, would go down as bad a decision has been made in this franchise, and there have been tons that have been made in that manner. Today is a day which maybe doesn't rectify, but maybe reverts course back to the right direction in about the craziest, most improbable, unlikely manner, if you're an Islander fan, that you ever could have literally possibly imagined. So, self-serving or serving for a fan base I've been a part of since I'm 5 years old for 4 decades, today is about the New York Islanders hiring of one Patrick Waugh. You, as always, know this, first and foremost. The BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, matchup reports, whether it's basketball, football, obviously in the playoffs, where most of you are paying attention today, and even I would be if not for this. Baseball when it's on, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline is really the fastest and easiest way to get all your wagers. Whether you're doing live betting, favorite casino, and card games, they're all available to play right now, right from your phone. So do it. Head over to the website, or you can use your mobile device to sign up and do it right now after you listen to this episode or watch it. Get in on all the action. Remember to use this promo code. It's BELIEVE, BLEAV. It'll give you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It is BetOnline, where the game starts and we get started here. And I give you kind of my vantage point of where I was, as many Islander fans were. Getting ready, sitting there saying, okay, today, greatest weekend in the sport for football fans, like most of us are, and getting revved up. And I'm pumped for the UFC event tonight. I think Duplessis will finish Strickland, but we'll see. And there I am, scrolling the artist formerly known as Twitter on the timeline. And I see a headline that says that the Islanders named Patrick Waugh head coach. I immediately thought it was some sort of a joke, until I looked beneath and saw that it was a repost of the Islanders and the team actually posting it themselves with a press release that I'll read from here in a minute. I wouldn't have even believed it. And I'm curious, comment, get at me, whether Twitter, X, sitting there, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, you listen later, get to me at Casey Stern. I'm curious, if you're an Islander fan, where were you? And is this as crazy as it is to you as it is to me? For a number of reasons. Number one, starting with the fact that I wasn't really so sure, even though we all knew, and I'm sure Lane Lambert's a nice guy, we all knew he wasn't the guy. We've known that for a while. We see that the loss of the identity, the one thing, even though this team was outweighed in talent, even though this team was outweighed in terms of, the ability, in terms of across the scope of the roster, that you needed to make a cup run, it was the identity of the team, and certainly led by Barry Trotz, that led them on the doorstep not once but twice to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the second time, oh so close, losing 1-0 in Game 7. That close. The doorstep of the finals. And everything since Barry Trotz left has gone the other way. Blown leads in the third period. The team seemingly, forget about the identity line, who's been around for too long, clearly, God bless him. but the identity of the team and the defense of the team. I mean, Vince Vaughn says in Wedding Crashers, I'm taking grenades, John. I mean, Soroka grenades all season. Guy facing 40 million shots a game. People talking about, well, his goals against his save percentage are not what they were. And no, he hasn't been as great as he's been. This guy's under siege all game. How do you think he feels as a goaltender? Hearing about Patrick Roy being named head coach. This from the press release. Islanders President of Hockey Operations GM Lou Lamoriello announces today Lane Lambert relieved of his coaching responsibilities. And I can't even read it aloud without smiling. Patrick Roy named head coach of the New York Islanders. Are you freaking kidding me? I even saw Pat McAfee reposting something about this. I mean, the relevance that Patrick Roy brings, and forget about it, I know it's not about that, but the fact that the Islanders, and I love, Biz and Spit and Chicklets and all of that, but the fact that the Islanders are always seemingly a laughingstock to everybody about how boring or whatever they are, there ain't nothing boring about Patrick Roy. This may be a combustible relationship waiting to happen with Lou Lamoriello. Who the hell knows, considering the short stint we saw the Avalanche, that saw the highs and the lows of him as a head coach. But he coming in with fire, which is the number one thing that Lane Lambert, who just got fired, didn't have. Again, sure, he's a nice guy, but ... Last season, Roy served as the head coach Quebec Ramparts, end up winning the Memorial Cup Championship, QMJHL Championship as well. 2 stints as head coach there, 05-06 through 2012-2013, 18-19 through 22-23, 13 seasons with the Ramparts. Coaching record 524, 255, and 66. Of course, as I mentioned, coached the Avalanche for 3 seasons, 2013 all the way through 2016. Jack Adams Award winner for Coach of the Year in 2013, 2014, and now returns to the NHL, where for those who don't know, this is one of, if not the greatest goaltender of all time. 11 All-Star games, 3 Vezina trophies, number 33 retired by Montreal and Colorado, Hockey Hall of Famer in 2006, and as good as there ever was in the crease, and a leader from the crease. And we've seen, go look at the videos, you don't know what Patrick Roy was like on the bench, this guy bringing passion and bringing fire to this bench. And all the coaches, if you're an Islander fan that you loved, since Al Arbor, all brought that. You love Peter Laviolette? He brought that. You love Barry Trotz? He brought that. And now Patrick Roy, which to me is just, it's unconscionable because you think about this, and you got to give Lou Lamoriello credit, and I have to. I have made many jokes, as have many people, about the fact that Lou Lamoriello has been taking a nap forever. And we know about all he's done, one of the greatest architects of all time, but he's been around a long time. It's like he's been around all time. Seriously. So, like, where the hell Lou been? Is he sitting there? Does he care about the team? Is he watching the team? Lou falling asleep, Lou this and that. And I'm doing it just alongside everybody else. Without Lou Lamoriello, no way in hell Patrick Roy going to Long Island to go coach the New York Islanders. So thank heavens for Lou Lamoriello. Because still, even if he can't get it done, and that still remains to be seen, his name still carries weight. Because Barry Trotz and now Patrick Roy ain't coming to the island without Lou Lamoriello. And you could book that in ink. So my apologies. I'm going back to sweet Lou. Lou could take naps all he wants. I'll get you milk and cookies. I'll play music in the background and lullabies. Thank you, Lou. Because without Lou, no Patrick Roy. But the fact that Patrick Roy would want to coach the Islanders, and I get he wants to get back in the NHL, and I don't know yet. We haven't looked at a press conference. I haven't heard how much he's getting paid per year. We don't know any of that. Just pretty immediate reaction. Just hearing about this, like an hour ago as I do this. But this, to me, is just all about the fact that Lou Lamoriello was able, with that name, to carry enough weight to get Patrick Roy in here. Now with Patrick Roy in here, everything changes. Does it mean the roster on this team is good enough to win a cup this year? No, it does not. Does it mean it looks like the roster on this team is good enough where they're going to be able to make changes with the cap space they have to go, and they don't have right now, but maybe we'll have at some point, go win a cup? Now, I don't think so. But does it mean that they can return to an identity where they can maximize and squeeze the most out of the orange? You're damn well right. Does it mean they can return to identity where there's pride of playing on this team like there was when Barry Trotz was there? Yes, I believe that is going to happen. Do I believe that the fire will be instilled in the room immediately? What the hell do you think? If you're sitting there, imagine if you're a hockey player and you just found out Patrick Roy, your damn head coach. Are you kidding me? Lane Lambert, again, nice guy, but ... No fire. Couldn't stand it in the press conference. Couldn't stand listening to him anymore. I mean, I just honestly was so done with it. And thank heavens they didn't win a couple of games here in a row like they tend to do, because that's what mediocrity in the NHL will do. Win a couple, lose a couple. Thank heavens we didn't, win a couple, and all of a sudden they didn't wait too long. I don't know how long this whole thing was set up. I doubt they called Patrick Waugh last night at a randomly and made this happen. But thank heavens, whatever loss they were waiting for happened against the Chicago Blackhawks and was the last straw. They lost to enough bad teams. They've had enough go wrong. But they've lost the identity on this hockey team. The identity on this hockey team. Now, look, they could be more wide open. We all wanted to see that. Whether or not Barry Trotz got fired because, all these different things you hear about, Barzal, or they wanted to open things up, or who knows what. And clearly with the way Dobson and Barzal and Horvat, when you saw the way they played together as well as they played together, you think splitting that up was a good idea? I mean, Lane had already done a million things that had driven you nuts. Where did that factor in? How's Matt Martin sitting on the ice? Love Matty Martz. How's he on the ice at the end of the game to even make that ridiculous clear up the middle of the ice? Going back a week ago to blow that game. That can never happen with 2 minutes left in a game, the amount of blown leads that you've got. I don't care. Casey Cizikas not there. You got enough players. By the way, Martin also a wing, not a center. Don't want to hear it. Can't be on the ice. Nowhere near it during that spot. This is a game changer. You look at how Barry Trotz raised the level. Go look at Brock Nelson right now. And we all love Brock and give him all the credit for all the work, certainly player first, that he has put together. But anybody who doesn't notice that Barry Trotz was first and foremost, outside of the work that he's put in, and Brock Nelson, becoming a better player because of that work ethic and putting in the time to become a better player. But who do you think was behind all of that, turning him into the two-way player he became? Barry Trotz. Patrick Waugh is the kind of guy who will instill a confidence and a motivation that's going to help this team get better and help them get back the damn identity that they had when they maximized everything out of this roster to almost get to the cup twice. But the biggest thing of all, again, for me, want to get your comments, is the shock. It's the, if you're in New York, you're a Met fan. It's like, Max Scherzer signed. That was surprising. Oh, he got paid $140 million or whatever it was. Who wouldn't have signed? Nobody would have taken that from the Mets. They'd take that from the Yankees. Nobody taking Met money. It's like when Steve Cohen came in. Couldn't believe he'd taken Met money. Nobody come to the Mets. Nobody come to the Islanders. How many players they all love the island, but how many podcasts or interviews you hear? I didn't know anything about the island. I couldn't believe what an unbelievable place it is. Johnny Boychuk and 900 other million like him, right? I had no idea what it would be like when they got traded there, and then all of a sudden they fell in love with it. They don't voluntarily go there. Free agents not seeking to go play there. To get Patrick Waugh is ridiculous. And by the way, the draw of Patrick Waugh when you get into free agency is ridiculous. It's Patrick freaking Waugh. This is a monumental day for this franchise, regardless of whether or not they make the playoffs this year or not. And by the way, I think they probably will. They're close enough, and I think this will help them get back in. I think they're good enough to be able to get there. And I think that you bring in Patrick Waugh, excuse me, if you're not willing, if you're Lou, to at least tweak come deadline to do the little things that the Islanders do, the Engvalls and the whatnots, to just get you to enough to get in. Are they going to be an 8 seed or the third wild card in this? Whatever, probably. Are they going to get ousted in the first round? Probably. But then you go into an offseason where Patrick Waugh is your head coach, where you've reinstilled an attitude in this franchise and a pride in this damn franchise moving forward and into free agency. And, I mean, really, God bless hockey today if you're an Islander fan. Patrick Waugh is the head coach of the New York freaking Islanders. How about them apples? Wow. Unfiltered, presented as always by our good friends at BetOnline.